There's been more and more talk about introducing carbon taxes around the world, something opponents say would increase the cost of living in a big way. But what if I told you there might be a way out? Not just a way out of carbon taxes, but a way out of worrying about CO2 and climate change. Well, enter this company, Carbon Engineering from Canada. They've developed a way to turn CO2 in the air into fuel for your car, lorry, or even an aeroplane. This could be revolutionary, so watch this clip.
Your technology is we're going to refine that energy, that carbon, out of the atmosphere, combine it with hydrogen and water, and then that's the same as gas or jet fuel?
Yeah, it's chemically the same. No pollutants. So for example, our diesel burns completely clean. Everything here is a working model, full process working, and we are capturing CO2 from the atmosphere right here. Think of it as like a big cooling tower. Large fan, the fan draws the CO2 in, chemical reaction, and we capture the CO2. So we could put one of these plants in the middle of Beijing, or we could put it in the middle of the Sahara Desert. You would capture the same amount of atmospheric CO2. This is the fuel that we make. It looks exactly the same as any other fuel.
Right.
It's very, very high chemical performance.
Right.
Higher performance fuel than the stuff you buy at the pumps today.
So it's better than the pumps, it's carbon neutral, and theoretically it would be cheap to make because you're refining the energy that's already out there in the atmosphere.
But here's the interesting thing, a carbon neutral fuel that's compatible with any vehicle in the world today.
Right.
So that car you just drove up in, we can make that carbon neutral tomorrow.
Wow.
Any vehicle, any performance vehicle, any battered old truck, aeroplanes, we're compatible with all of those. So transportation is about 20% of the CO2 emissions. How are we going to decarbonize that? There's 1 billion cars in the world. So if we all go electric, $50,000 for an electric car, that's $50 trillion. Then you've got to deliver energy and electricity to each car. It's a massive change.
Yeah.
Alternatively, why don't we just change the fuel? The price to you at the pump will be the same.
How many do you need to scale it to get to carbon negative?
You need less of these than there are power stations in the world today to net emissions out to zero.
And how many is that?
It's in the region of tens of thousands.
Why isn't the world rushing to Squamish, BC and saying, can we please make 100,000 of these?
So, if your government see this information and what's on offer, are they just going to sit on their hands and introduce the carbon tax anyway? Because if they're actually concerned about CO2, well, this solution is surely worth consideration. If they ignore technology like this, then I can't help but think they're just interested in your taxes and protecting oil companies.